So for this test, it was for a healthy dog food subscription and delivery service. For some background and context on this business, they have a decently long sign-up subscription flow where it asks users to answer a bunch of questions about their dog, and then ultimately recommends a personalized meal plan for them to check out with. But the problem is that there's too many steps in the flow. It's preventing users from continuing on and ultimately making it to the checkout. So our hypothesis for this test was to remove a step that was unnecessary early on in the flow. And in doing so, would hope that users are able to make it through the flow more expeditedly and check out. So for the variations, the step in question that we identified as being unnecessary was dubbed the Emily step. And in control, when users enter into the flow anywhere through the site, the first page they're taken to is this Emily step. Now, Emily's job is just to greet users, let them know she's a pup specialist, and then she's going to guide you through the rest of the questionnaire and also provides a few value props. Once users click on Let's Get Started in control, they're taken to the first question in the questionnaire. And then in V1, we banished Emily from the flow. So when users enter in anywhere on the site, they're automatically directed right to this first question. Our primary metric was order completions, and then additionally, we tracked page view metrics throughout the flow to see how far users were making it.
Sorry, and did you say if this is on mobile and desktop, and if so, what the split is in traffic?
Yes, this is both on mobile and desktop. I'm not quite certain the split,
Okay.
But I do know that the majority of the users are desktop users.
Got it.
Does Emily come back around again, like through email as like the brand ambassador person?
I don't believe so. I don't believe they have
Okay.
any like email remarketing.
So she's just used this once.
Yes, except for you can see kind of in these screenshots throughout the flow, there's like little icons with Emily pictured, and then there'll be like a little helpful blurb kind of explaining what the input is asking for. So she does appear in V1 throughout the flow, just not greeting users into the flow.
And is Emily used in any of like their advertising or commercials or anything? Like, is Emily a persona of sorts?
Not that I know of. To the best of my knowledge, Emily is just a stock photo model.
So I'll go ahead and give my guess. So I personally really hate these stock photo Emilys, and I think they're really fake and disingenuous. So I'm saying goodbye to Emily.
Is there another place where those value props underneath the start button appear?
Ooh, good question.
Yes, good question. These value props are actually at the checkout screen.
Lit. So then in that case, bye Emily. We're reducing a click barrier. You end up getting those value props when you're better validating yourself as a stronger lead. So yeah, V1 is my vote.
I'm gonna go like counterculture, I guess, because I think that people like the feel of talking to a specific person, and I don't think like everyone, if you don't work in web services, realizes how fake these are. So I'm gonna go ahead and say like I don't think Emily lost. I also might have tried like a couple different types of Emilys and said like, okay, does Emily work better when she's a Frank and he's, smiling? Does Emily work better when she's like, a different kind of person or a different age group based on our user profile, that kind of thing. So I might have done some like Emily tests. Pro Emily over here.
If Emily
Thank you.
wins, pro
Thank you,
Emily
Cara.
iterations.
I was gonna say
I'm
something
gonna-
similar, is like having it over to the side where it was more of a conversation.
Yeah, and I'm going to go against what Kara said. I think that when I see this, I feel like I'm going to be set up to have a very lengthy conversation because I'm being introduced to someone who's guiding me through this process, and I might abandon before I even get to the next step. So I think cutting that out is going to help.
Okay, let's move to voting because we have 3 minutes left. So great content, everybody. Thumbs up if you think B1 won. Thumbs down if you're pro Emily.
Okay, without further ado, for this test overall, it was generally pretty flat with low statistical significance. A slight increase in orders, but also slight decrease in users getting throughout the flow. However, when we segmented between desktop and mobile, we saw that this test is actually a pretty big winner for desktop users. So 16% increase in orders with 91% stat sig. And additionally, we saw for desktop users, they were making it further into the flow. So the takeaway from this test is that desktop users enjoy a more expedited experience. They don't really care for Emily. But mobile users, I prefer having that greeting into the flow. So Emily still lives on for mobile users.
Amazing. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to have more ideas sent directly to your inbox.